Alright, well, I'm gonna do a trading rant right now because I'm like losing my mind. I'm losing my mind and I don't know what to do. So, as you guys may or may not know, I've been at this trading thing for 7 months now. I've been on my trading months for 7 months completely. I mean, this is my 10th month, though, right? Not my 10th month. Wow, what am I saying? I'm already losing my mind even more. I've been on my trading journey for 7 months. This is my 8th month. January is my 8th month. January is not over, so it's still my 8th month, right? And I've made so much progress, like probably more progress than people make in a year, right? The year's not even done for me in terms of like a full trading year. And I've made so much progress. How do I put this? So when I first started trading, I primarily traded what do you call it? A fair value gap, buy side of the curve, sell side of the curve, a market maker model strategy, right? Where a price goes into a fair value gap and you usually try to catch it when it's on the buy side of the curve going back up to complete the trading model, right? That's typically the how I was trading. And I was maybe taking like 4 to 5 trades a month, and I did have a positive R&R and a positive win rate. The win rate being like 50%, and the R&R being maybe like 3R, right? And I realized that, well, if I want to work with prop firms, which are like, I need to make 6% a month, I can't keep doing this. Plus, the trade frequency was very low. 4 to 5 trades in a month out of 20 trading days in a month is just like, no. That means the majority of the time I'm not going to be doing anything, and I know that's part of trading, but personally, I cannot do that. So basically, I was like, okay, well, I have to change something. I have to increase my frequency somehow. So I think ultimately I ended up getting to the fractal model, T-Trade's fractal model, and I was working with that for like the first couple. So essentially, the first 3 to 4 months were basically learning ICT more in depth, understanding all the concepts, and then the next 3 months, which would be 7 months, was working with the fractal model basically. So I started working with that in maybe October, November, December, and now here I am in January, right? And I've been working with that, and I've made a lot of progress in the last week of December into January. So then the last 2 weeks, basically, I made so much progress with the fractal model in terms of understanding it, in terms of understanding the process of how I should be looking at price every single day, aligning time frames, and then ultimately getting into my trade, right? So I did that. And I've never felt more comfortable than I've never felt more comfortable than ever in terms of understanding how to look at price, understanding how the market moves, understanding how to get in my trades, and so on and so forth. I'm pretty much versed in like all of it. I know majority of ICT concepts. I understand how to enter a trade. I understand how to align time frames. I understand using the triad. I pretty much know it basically all, right? Maybe not all, but I know like a majority of the ICT content library, essentially, right? And I've been messing around in FX Replay, and basically I was just like, okay, I'm going to finally, after going through all the work, after understanding how to trade, I'm going to finally, like, okay, sit down, create a new session, and trade seriously, right? And what you're probably like, why do you mean trading seriously? Shouldn't you have been trading seriously from the beginning? Yes and no, right? I do think you should have sessions where you definitely trade with strict risk management and strict process, but I do think that it's also beneficial to create sessions where you're just trying to figure things out, where you're just trying to test out maybe one thing that you're trying to do, maybe like a 1 minute entry model, or like maybe a 15-minute entry model. So you kind of have sessions where you're doing that, or kind of sessions where you're kind of just trying to feel out the market and understand the market, and just basically sessions for studying different things, right? So that was basically what I was doing. So I created a new session, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take this seriously from the get-go. I'm going to treat it like the real market, and I'm going to trade as if this were, the live market, basically, right? And obviously my goals are pretty simple. I want a, 50% or higher win rate. I want to make at least minimum 6% a month, but ideally 10%, which is doable. 10% on a month is doable, but minimum 6%. Maximum, I'd probably cap it at like 10% a month, maybe, potentially. I don't know. And overall, I want to see a positive return month to month, right? And that's basically what I was doing. Basically that's what I was looking for, and I'm in February now. It is now February 24th, so I'm nearly done with February, And you're probably like, well, you have $7,000. That's a positive return, because I started this account with $100,000, already at $7,000, which is not bad. But if you're doing the math here, I said I want 6% per month. I'm in February, and this is only half of what, I would be expecting, because if I was making 6% in January and 6% in February, then it would be $12,000, not $7,000. And then if I was making 10% each month, it would be at $20,000, not $7,000. So I'm severely underperforming, and we're going to take a look at the stats now. So my win rate is 40%, which is not bad, but it's not good either. It's not bad, but it's not good. Because I want more of a 50% win rate, 50% win rate, so on and so forth. I've taken 36 trades, 11 break evens, and my P&L is $7,000. So, I mean, ultimately I am in the green, but that's, ideally not where it should be. I've taken 15 trades, 15 losers, 10 winners, hence my win rate, because it's underperforming. My winners should be either equal to my losers or more than my losers, and that's just not the case. Here's the issue. January I made 4%. February, in all of February, mind you, I'm at February 24th. I've only made 2%, and it's February 2024. The 24th. The month is basically nearly over, and I've only made 2%. And this is what we're gonna look at now. This is February, right? This is a testament to my risk management, because this is crazy. I literally took 3 sell trades on this particular day, and I got stopped out 3 times only for it to go and hit my TP. Crazy. And you're probably like, you're managing too strict. No, I was not. I was not managing it too strict. I was managing it how I should be managing it. And then these days I got totally handled. And I think this week in particular, it was a daily consolidation, which is why I ended up taking these losses here. But regardless, it's still very unfortunate. And then not only that, a lot of times I want to go for 1 to 3s, but I end up chickening out. So so you're probably wondering, what's the reason for your losses? Well, it's honestly a handful of reasons. One, not recognizing the conditions that I'm in, which was a daily consolidation. Mind you, these couple days started the daily consolidation, so it's not like I knew the daily consolidation before I, started. It was it was creating itself as it went, and then by the end of the week, I was like, oh crap, it was a daily consolidation. That's why I lost money every single freaking day. What else? Another reason is choosing the wrong asset, so the triad. So like, maybe I take NASDAQ to go long, only for NASDAQ to be the weakest asset and YM to be the strongest asset. And you're probably like, well, if you know anything about the triad, you're probably like, okay, well, if you didn't know which asset was weak or strong, why should you take ES? I don't like ES, primarily because it is the middle asset typically, and the middle asset can do deeper retracements. And sometimes what you'll see is that ES, being the middle asset, can follow the weaker asset. So the stronger asset might like go to the moon, while the middle and weaker asset will plummet to hell, basically. So I don't typically like taking ES as I don't know which one, so I'm just going to take you and YOLO, right? I don't know. So I would say asset is probably one of the biggest reasons. Yeah, it's one of the biggest reasons. And then price just doing some fuckery, basically. So for example, like, I know some of these losses were because I got stopped out, like, not by much, like by a little bit, only for price to go in my direction. So that happened a couple times, or price doing some bullshit where it will go higher, like go crazy high, like way high, like outside of the range that we're in, only for it to then reverse and then go and plummet to my TP, which is just fucking crazy. So it's just a slew of reasons. Not gonna lie, what probably really got me in February was that daily consolidation. I think it was this week. Yeah, and then January, honestly, January wasn't bad. It was not bad, but the thing is, it should have been better, because I could have definitely got the 10% here. Tuesday was a trade that what is it was a 3R trade, but I ended up changing my bias and I didn't end up taking the trade, and I missed out on that. And then a lot of these, I think, not all of them, but I think at least 2 of these losses on the days were because of wrong asset. So wrong asset is just like one of the ones that keep popping up on why I'm losing my trades. But like when I tell you I am more comfortable, like, okay, just to make myself clear, direction is not the issue. Every single day here, probably maybe 2 days outside of, in February, that I did not get the direction correct. I am getting the direction correct more often than not. It's very rare for me to be completely wrong about that direction, right? But the issue is asset. I might be taking the trade on the wrong asset, one, and sometimes I might get taken out by a couple ticks and for it to go in my direction, two. I don't know. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. And then this trade, I could have went for 3R, but I only took 2R because, I feel like all the losses do get to you mentally, and like when you could have held the trade longer, I don't. So there's that. And it's just like, it's crazy. And I feel like I would hit the 6% if I were able to minimize the losses, but like I'm with the exclusion of this week, I feel like every other trade, even the losses weren't too bad. Again, a lot of them were because of asset. I usually get the direction correct. Obviously, I might not get the direction correct on a daily consolidation, or maybe technically I will, but what you'll see in a daily consolidation is that you end up chopping around. And you're probably like, well, I don't really know if I can trust you. So let's do a trade together. We're going to walk through it, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. I mean, hey, if it works out, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm going to walk you through my new process. If you guys have been here for a long time and you've been watching me, then you might be familiar with how I trade. I trade T-Trade's fractal model with heavy emphasis on framework. I don't really think T-Trades really talks about framework too much. But the fractal model works best when you work with framework, which is why I'm able to get the direction correct most of the times, along with phases of price and stuff like that. So with that being said, let's go. So what do? I always take note of the weekly profile. What day are we on? We're on a Thursday, so we've basically completed most of the week. Where did Monday open? Monday opened up here. So we have open low, I'm noticing, on NASDAQ, which is it could be a bullish signature, but the fact that the other days have been trading under this Monday candle is kind of giving bearish. But if you look at YM, it's an open low high, which is very bullish, right? And then now on ES, we're starting to flip more bullish, right? Because this is Monday's candle. We are now trading above it. So this is, this is capping off. This is creating the low of the week. And we're trading away from the low of the week, right? So because two of our assets are more so bullish than bearish, I'm leaning more towards bullishness in terms of trading bullish. Plus, Thursday, or should I say Wednesday, is a very bullish candle. So that is giving me more conviction that we want to go higher, right? Now, the next thing I look at is, well, okay, if we are going to go higher, where can we go to? Well, we have this high here from a daily standpoint, right? And then also from a weekly standpoint too, you can look at this, it's previous week's high, right? So we could totally go back to previous week's high, although we've already taken it on YM, right? And you're probably like, well, we've already taken it, so we're probably going to reverse now. No. Do not anticipate the reversal. We are getting very bullish signatures right now. Just because YM has taken previous week's high does not mean that we're all of a sudden going to drop like 100 freaking points. No. That's just not how it works. You have to look at price and see what price is telling you. And right now, at least on the daily anyways, it's not telling me that we are going to reverse. This is very, very bullish. Very, very bullish. I'm not really as focused on NASDAQ just because we're coming back into this bearish fair value gap here. But I'm not really that concerned with NASDAQ. So with that being said, I do this kind of every time, but I look to see if we have any weekly SMTs, and we do. I do this even though it's a Thursday. I clear my charts and I always mark these things out, and you're probably like, why do you mark it out every time if you already know it's there? Because it just reminds you and visually lets you know, like, hey, there's SMT here. It's just good to know, because your framework is understanding where you are in relation to everything else, and you're trying to figure out, are we mostly bullish, are we mostly bearish, what is telling you that we're bullish, why should we continue to be bullish? That's what I mean by framework. You're kind of looking for that kind of stuff, right? So we have SMT setting the low of week, right? So that is telling me that we probably shouldn't be coming back down here because it's a low of week. One, if you understand T-Trade's fractal model, this is a C2 candle, right? So this is giving us a bullish indication, or at least a reversal indication. I don't want to say bullish indication, but it's signaling a reversal. Because if you know what T-Trade says, we can't reverse without a swing point. And this is a swing point. A swing point, or a relevant swing point, is a swing point that is engaged with a relevant level and prints like a C2 candle. And a C2 candle is just a candle that's body closes back within the previous candle. And then there's also C3 candles, but you can look. This is actually a C3 candle on NASDAQ. Why is it a C3 candle? Because the body of this candle closed above the body of this. So this Monday's candle plus Wednesday's candle creates a C3 candle, right? With that being said, not much else to pinpoint on the daily, right? So next, what am I going to be looking for? So basically what I do is I line the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and so on and so forth until I get down to the time frame that I'm looking to execute on. With that being said, we're gonna go to the 4 hour now, and you're probably like, what are you looking for on the 4 hour? Well, on the 4 hour, I'm looking for signatures and price that is going to support our expansion. So everything that you do on the lower time frame, you do on the bigger time frame. What is supporting the narrative that we could be going higher? Well, one, we have a 4 hour CISD, right? And this 4 hour CISD opened up a fair value gap, right, for us to come back into and potentially continue going high, right? So ideally I'd like for price to come back into here. It hasn't yet. However, we actually kind of do have an SMT fill right here. See, we do have a C2 here as well. We have a C2 here as well. Sorry, not C2. CISD, right? CISD. So we have CISD opening up a fair value gap. We don't have a no, I don't want to say we don't have a CISD. We do have a CISD here because we close above this candle. It's just a little more tight because it's NASDAQ. And we are tapping back into this order block here. I don't really like using order blocks. I like using fair value gaps, but it's fine. And we do have SMT right here as well. Because that would make this an SMT fill on the other time frames, basically. Not on the other time frames, on the other assets, sorry. So this would be SMT fill. And then another thing that's very important to look at, right? So this is actually telling me that we're possibly going to be potentially... No. I don't know. So this is where it gets a little tricky. And so the next thing I'm looking at is like how the day formed out, how today's candles formed out. So this starts Wednesday's candle. And one thing that I'm not liking right off the bat is that we opened high first. You know, that's a bearish signature in price, not a bullish signature price. We'd want to open low first, then go high. So that is something that I'm not particularly liking. So it's kind of making me think, like, is this a fake SMT? Are we actually going back into the SMT? Into the fair value gap? It's kind of giving me mixed signatures right now. But we do have the SMT here. So it's a little bit hard to tell right now. Because even though everything else does tell us bullish, we also have to look at like how the day is formed out. And we've barely tapped into this fair value gap. So I mean, even though we have this SMT here, we could still go back into the fair value gap. And this could just be a fake SMT. So discretion, this does require some level of discretion here. So what I would just say to this is maybe go back down, maybe go down to the hourly and look for any, potential confirmation that we could be continuing up higher. So on the hourly, I do notice that we have an hourly C2 here, this 4 hour. This is a reversal candle pushing us up to the upside. So I can say that. It's also a 2-stage SMT, I just realized. This is a 2-stage SMT, and this is also a PSP. So that's 2 technically like 3 cracks in correlation, pushing us up to the upside. So, I mean, this could provide us with more confidence slash confluences to push us up to the upside. So the next thing we also want to take into account is, okay, if we're going up, where can we potentially go? Well, this is a like an actually existent target, because we could use standard deviation as well to, you know, project a target that's not this. So this one is all the way up here. It might be a little bit, I mean, anything's possible, but like that might be a little bit too far. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is definitely a day where I could get wrong. Just because I don't like how the day opened up, technically. And I do think we could come back further into this. So, this is definitely a day that I could get wrong. Yeah, I don't know. So some discretion is needed here. So what I'd probably do now is probably just like go down to the 15-minute. We do have a 15-minute CISD here. That's pushing us back up to the upside. So what I do now is, since the 6 o'clock candle, typically, you know, new candles open low first. So I don't want to enter just off of that. I want to see like, we're now pulling back. So that's why I do it like this. See how we're coming down? And aggressively coming down. Aggressively. Now, the fact that we took this low now I end up backing out. I end up backing out and looking at how this 4 hour is printing now, right? We're coming further into this fair value gap, which is exactly what I was expecting. Or, you know, thought could happen here. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we're not going up still. But the fact that we're going down first is actually potentially a good thing, because, you know, you would want your new candle to open low, then high first, and we're still holding this SMT here. So, I mean, it's a possibility that it's a possibility that we could still see price go higher from here. So what I'm going to do now is switch over to the 50-minute and just see if we can get a 50-minute C2. We kind of have it here, but now we have this bearish fair value gap that we would have to get past. So I'm backing out again. V-shaped reversal, pushing us back up to the upside, right? A little tricky here. Little tricky. Ideally, now I'm going to go down to the 3-minute because we do have a V-shaped reversal here. I want to see if... Okay, so we're just continuing lower. I don't want to... We do have a change in state of delivery now, but I just... Everything else, again, SMT is holding, not this one. Not this one, but this one is. 50-minute C2, yeah, 50-minute C2, pushing us back up to the upside. I'm going to back out again. Obviously, 6 o'clock is turning out to be potentially our reversal candle. I could just go to 10 o'clock, but you're going to miss out on a potentially great opportunity if you do that. So one thing I could do, instead of playing this like weird game of like back and forth with the time frames, I could just wait for a 15-minute confirmation that we're going up. But when it's doing this, I'm like, it's kind of concerning a little bit, because it's like, I don't know, I could do a 50-minute entry if I get one, because I feel like this is definitely a high probability loss situation. But the thing is, the only thing I'm concerned about is that price could just boop, you know what I mean? Boop. But because we have this, I'm going to probably just do a 50-minute. Also, is this low of day? It is. It is low of day. So I can't even take a buy from here, even if I wanted to. I mean, I could flirt around with the lower time frame still and just see. Okay, so this would be a continuation, right? This would be a continuation, because this would be OTE. Just tapped into OTE and then continuation. One thing I also didn't take into consideration is what is our stronger asset, right? I think that's definitely going to be YM in this situation here. So yeah, we have two 15-minute well, technically just one, but this is pushing us back up. I just don't like how we have a bearish fair value gap in our way. That's kind of dangerous. I'm gonna take it, but just know that the probability of this being a loss is quite high, I would say. And honestly, I would want to target this high here for a 4R, but I don't know. I do not know. Let me just take a, yeah, so that's what the 15 minutes looking like. I just do not like this. I just do not like how this is looking, but the SMT is still intact. It's just that this candle is not an expansion candle. Okay, that's not too bad, I guess. Maybe I should just go for 3R. Let's watch it. Fuck, that's not good. That's not, oh shit. Ah, okay, well. Yeah, I did think that. That was definitely a high probability situation. That could be a loss. Why? So I could be wrong about the direction in terms of, so I'm not gonna engage with this. Why? I'm actually gonna wait for a 15-minute model now. Why? Because it's just, ooh, SMT 50-minute block. I just don't like, you see how this is, you see how this came down and then rejected off? I just don't like that. I feel like this is definitely a situation where I could like lose. It is SMT though. Okay guys, get ready to see the double loss. It's a 2R, I mean, hey. I'm going on a 3-minute because, yo, this shit got me nervous, deadass. Okay, wait, that's not bad, actually. Okay, no, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. Okay, this could be a case of wrong asset. Oh my god. Took 2 losses in a row, and this was a case of wrong direction. So this was a case of wrong direction. The sad part is that I took 2 losses on this. And I did tell you that this was a little bit of a tricky one. So this ended up coming back into the fair value gap. That was a case scenario that I was considering. Because I didn't like the way that the daily was forming out, which is open high first, which is a bearish signature in price. So it turns out that it was wrong direction. Very rare for me to be wrong about the direction, but this was just a case where it was a little bit tricky, especially since we were creating SMT. So it turns out, again, what I feared was correct. It was a fake SMT, and we did end up trading back within that fair value gap. So that's just ended up that, that was a tricky one for me personally. And also, wow. What day is this? Friday? V-shape reversal going back down. Okay, we have to take a look at this. Let's do one more. That was a shame. Probably, I typically don't like to trade after I've gotten one wrong in a day, so like that's not a good habit to have either. I'm less likely to go back into the market if I've already had one win, but for some reason when you have a loss you're more likely to go back in, and it's not because I'm revenge trading, it's because I think the timing was just off, which can happen because there are times where I do take a loss and then I get the timing right the second time and I do get a win, so it's just a possibility. I think there was a time I did take 2 trades in a row and they both were wins. So, I mean, I just, hold on again a minute. This is a Friday. That is crazy, actually. So, it looks like we were wrong about the direction hardcore because I thought we were going back up. So, that's very rare. typically that doesn't happen, but like to be that badly wrong is actually kind of crazy. Nasdaq is obviously the bearish, but I'm trying to figure out like where could Friday go if it wants to go somewhere, because it's engaging, it's like flirting with these lows, you know what I mean? So like I can't just say, oh, we're gonna go bearish just because, you know, the previous day's candle was bearish. That's just not how that works. There's also an SMT here. And it's engaging with all these lows here. So we could see some resistance. We'll just have to go. So you won't really know what direction you're choosing to trade unless, like, well, you go down lower. So one thing that I'm noticing from the 4 hour is that we open low. 2 o'clock is reversing price, and 2 o'clock is also set with 2-stage SMT here, which is just, you know, confluence. But also it looks like strength potentially might have switched into Nasdaq as the stronger asset, potentially. But I mean, the way that the 4 hours playing out is not too bad, and we do have fair value gap to trade back into if that's, you know, if up is the play, which right now things are pointing to that being the case. But, you know, because we engage with this low, we have to look for the signatures in price, because when we engage in a low, we can see a different phase of price. There are 4 phases of price. There's reversal, expansion, consolidation, and retracement, right? So we are getting a V-shaped reversal off of this low here. After this key level that we tapped into, we do have a CISD pushing us up to the upside, so it changes state of delivery, right? Which could be a reversal signature. We are also, yeah, 2-stage SMT right here. We are also retracing back down, so we might want to take a look at that. I honestly probably could, if we're going up, I probably could just set a trade at OTE, if I'm being honest. I probably don't even need to like play around with anything like that. So yeah, just because it's a Friday doesn't mean we're going down, you know what I mean? Just because it's Friday doesn't mean we're going up. You have to look at the overall context and framework of the situation here. So yeah, 2 o'clock is reversing price, so we can, you know, potentially look at that here. We have a 50-minute CISD. We have a 50-minute CISD. Again, I really could just set a trade at OTE, but I just don't feel comfortable doing that. So with that being said, I'll be looking for a 50-minute model or a 50-minute OB to take my trade off of. So we're just going to go like this, and like that, and like that. See? Bouncing off the 79% extension. 50-minute model right there. So yeah, but you also want to be careful, because like you could definitely like go through this, although even with all these confluences, but sorry, I did not mean to do that. OTE coming back down, retracement, because this is a very deep retracement. As you can see, like if this is a reversal candle, we typically wouldn't want to see it come back so low. But that doesn't necessarily negate the idea that we're going up either. So, but yeah, I don't. One thing I do have to say, I'm not a fan of that deep retracement. Not a fan. In fact, it's kind of giving. It's giving a little bit of consolidation. I just need to make sure this is not. Oh shit! It's kind of giving consolidation. Shit. Because we're between these two candles, it's kind of giving consolidation, which I do not like. That's not a good sign, to be honest. But I mean, technically it's a range. SMT at the highs. I'm going to ignore that as a fake SMT right now. Really deep retracement on all assets. Not a good sign. Not a good sign at all. We can't do anything here. Oh shit. Holy fuck. Can we like not do that shit? If this fails now, I'm gonna be so pissed. I'm gonna be pissed. Because this is our continuation, right? Where was I trying to aim for? The fair value gap, right? For a 3R trade? Huh. Would it even get there? It's a, you know, it's a crazy thing. This would piss me off if this didn't work, because this is like textbook in terms of what to expect here. This is what I hate. You enter the trade and then it just fucks around. Just fucking go. I don't like that. Why is it doing that? Please don't. Shit. Oh, fucking hell. I don't like that. Why did it do that? Okay, it's because you can't really see, but there's a fair value gap here. Yo, this better just go and not fuck around with me, bro. I hate when it fucking does that. It's like going and then it comes back deep on you. Like, why? Okay, good. Once I get to this high, I'll break even. Okay, fuck, that was crazy. Break even? Oh my god, what the fuck? I'm sorry, why isn't this breaking even? Can I move it though? I can, but it should just... Oh my god. Wow. Okay, can we just get there? I hate this. Just get there. Okay, there. Got it. So, as you guys can see, I know what I'm doing. The last one is just a rare case of wrong direction, and then obviously I'm ending off the February with 3R. Honestly, it really should have been 4R. There's no reason I should have took 2 losses on Thursday. But, yeah. I mean, I'm in the green. You're probably like, why are you getting upset at 4-3R? Because it's not good enough for prop firms. I have to be making 6% to pass prop firm accounts. And this is just not good numbers, guys. These are not good numbers. Like, it needs to be at least 6% minimum, 10% maximum. And I know you can have, like, crazy months where you make more than that and stuff, but, like, I'm underperforming, and it's not good. And all these reds, and then my win rate, I mean, it's at, like, roughly around 40% win rate, but, like, the whole point of me breaking down my trading and building it back up was to get better stats, get a better win rate, and, you know, overall have my higher P&L. But, like, you know, the P&L is just a product of your skills and a product of your win rate anyway, so the P&L does not matter to me as much as the overall percentage return and the consistency and the overall win rate, and stuff like that. So it's just like, bro, I don't know. That's my rant. Struggles as a 7-month trader. I'm not doing bad. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. I'm not doing bad as a trader at all. But it's just like, the whole point of me breaking down my trading and building it back up was to see better results, and I'm not necessarily seeing that. I will say though that as you can see, 7 years worth of trading, 2,000 trades, 75% win rate overall. Ugh, yeah. But anyways, I will say that I think in my BAM session, I was going through a period where I was building back up my trading, I was severely, like, not doing good. Like, this is not even the session, but, like, as you can see, I was, like, not doing good. And, like, when I used to have a 50% win rate and, you know, decent wins, I ended up, like, hurting my trading as a result. Like, this is not even what I'm looking for. Hold on a minute. Give me a second, because... Not BAM, not that. Backtesting? There's a session where I have, like, a year's worth of stuff, but I don't... Was it this? No, it was not this. Am I tripping? I think it was BAM, but I'm not sure. Or was it, like, brute force method? Yeah. Maybe it was this one? It was not this one. Shit, I don't know where it is. Maybe I deleted it. Maybe I fucking deleted it. Because I was so mad. And the crazy thing, I do have months where I'm like make 9%, and then I mean it's not like I can't do it, right? But like holy hell. I don't know where it is. Maybe I deleted it. I thought it was BAM, but I don't think it's BAM. It might be BAM, guys. I don't know. I don't know. Either way, I think it was this. So basically you can see that, one, I'm basically not making anything. I'm in the red overall. And this is what happened when I decided to revamp my whole trading, is that I ended up doing worse. And I'll kind of show you a session where I would, like, when the beginning, when I was only, I don't even think this is it though. Holy fuck. Whoa. I was doing so good here. See, okay, so yeah, this is like before I decided to like kind of rebuild back up my trading. I think, what was my win rate? My win rate was about 72%, yeah. So not bad, not great. I mean, net positive $10,000, but that's $10,000 after what? 1 to nearly half a year. That's bad. That's bad. Like, compared to my more recent session, I made $8,000 in 2 months. $10,000 in half a year is like bad. And like, I was in the green, right? And I was able to make 8% sometimes, 4% sometimes, 3% sometimes. But like, I was typically operating at like maybe 1% a month on average, I would say. I don't even know if this gives me the stats. Average R and R, yeah, like 1 R, basically, like maybe nearly 2 R, but basically 1 R, which is again bad. And I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm going to build back up my trading. I'm going to revamp it and do something differently so I can get better results. And that's what I did. And then only to come back and, 7 months or 3 months later, and only, 40% win rate. Jesus. So bad. And still netting roughly like 3-4 R. I mean, it's a little bit better than before, but like not that much better. And it's just like, bro, what was all that work for? I mean, don't get me wrong though. At the very least, at the very bare minimum, I feel more comfortable on the charts, reading price, understanding, looking for a trade. Like, this is probably the most comfortable I've ever been since starting my trading journey. So for that, I mean, it was worth it. And I do think maybe there are some things I can still fix to, improve my results overall. But it's just, these results are not it. And it's like, I revamped everything for better results, and it's like, So, I'm gonna keep working on it. I'm not a live trader yet. I haven't gone for any funded challenges just because my metrics are just not where I need them to be, man. I see people making like 70% win rates, making like really good money, and I'm here at like 40% win rate, making like, I mean, in 2 months $8,000 is not bad, but like, it's not prop firm level good, and it's not like the best of the best level good either. So like, I need to definitely work on it still. But that's where I am. I know I haven't been doing any like trade recaps or anything like that. Just let me know. I can do that. I'm in a place now where I can definitely trade live for you guys, because I'm back in a comfortable place with my trading overall. But yeah, I don't know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.